In October 2025, the European Central Bank made a procurement decision that barely registered in the media. They selected cloud providers for the digital euro project, the infrastructure that will eventually handle the Eurozone central bank digital currency. The decision was effectively Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure were not invited to bid. Eligibility was restricted to EU-based providers only. The winners were OVHcloud and Scaleway, which are two French companies. The message ultimately is, if it's the future of European money, America doesn't get the keys to the server room. Let me show you why this matters more than the market realizes. I'm Elle, I have a PhD in computer science, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics. First, let's clarify what a digital euro actually is, because this gets conflated. The money in your bank account right now is already digital. You check your balances on your phone, transfer funds electronically, but that is commercial bank money. It's issued by your normal bank, the one you have an account with, and there are some disadvantages to that. A digital euro is central bank money in digital form. Think of it as the digital equivalent of physical cash issued directly by the European Central Bank, usable for retail payments, but backed by the central bank rather than a commercial institution. The benefits of this are no reliance on commercial banks for basic transactions, cross-border payments within the Eurozone become instant and cost-free, offline functionality, you can transfer digital euros person to person without internet connectivity, similar to handing somebody a banknote. And crucially for this specific discussion in this video, full monetary sovereignty. The ECB controls issuance, settles transactions, and owns the infrastructure. No intermediaries, no foreign jurisdiction, no Cloud Act complications that we've discussed in previous videos. We won't dive deeper into the technical architecture, that would be a separate video, but let's understand the strategic implication. The digital euro is designed explicitly to reduce dependence on US-dominated payment networks. More than 2/3 of card transactions in the Eurozone are settled through international payment schemes, primarily Visa and MasterCard. The digital euro creates parallel infrastructure where those networks become optional rather than essential. Now here's where the cloud decision becomes strategic rather than just technical. The component these French cloud providers are handling is called SEPI, Secure Exchange of Payment Information. This is the system that manages secure data exchange between all organizations involved in the digital euro ecosystem. Banks, payment processors, merchants, the ECB itself, every entity touching digital euro transactions routes through SEPI. So whoever controls that infrastructure can theoretically access transaction data, user information, payment flows across the entire Eurozone. And the ECB looked at AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure and said, not you, not even to bid. The official reason from an ECB spokesperson, I'm quoting, only providers based in the EU were eligible to apply in order to ensure the European autonomy of the project. Autonomy is diplomatic language. What they actually mean is jurisdictional control. Because here's what most coverage misses, this decision is downstream of the Cloud Act. The Clarifying Lawful Overseas Use of Data Act, passed by the US in 2018, allows American authorities to compel US companies to hand over data regardless of where that data is physically stored. If your data sits in a Frankfurt data center but is owned by AWS, doesn't matter. If a US court issues a warrant, Amazon must comply. Microsoft has already publicly conceded that it cannot guarantee data independence from US law enforcement. So when the ECB evaluated bids for digital euro infrastructure, they were not just comparing technical specs and pricing, they were evaluating legal exposure. If you want to sharpen your ability to spot these jurisdictional vulnerabilities before they become procurement decisions, check out my book, Awake, the Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Self-Lies, available in ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can grab the first chapter for free in the description links below. Now, let's zoom out and look at the market context, because this is not an isolated decision. According to Synergy Research, US hyperscalers, that would be Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, control approximately 70% of the European cloud market. EU-based providers represent just 15%, so that would be a 70 to 15 split. For a continent of 450 million people with the world's second largest economy, that level of infrastructure dependence creates systemic vulnerability. The ECB is treating this as a national security issue disguised as a procurement policy. Steve Brazier, co-founder of Capital, told the Register, I'm quoting, "The ECB restricting eligibility to US-based providers is sovereignty written into procurement policy, and thus the right call." Written into procurement policy, that is essentially the mechanism here. So Europe isn't banning US cloud providers. They're simply making them ineligible for contracts involving critical financial infrastructure. And once that precedent is set for central bank digital currency, other sectors will follow. Defense procurement is already moving in this direction as well. Check the video on the US markets crashing for 5 consecutive weeks as defense stocks tell part of this story. I'm going to link in the description. Energy infrastructure increasingly subject to similar restrictions, and now money itself. OVHcloud and Scaleway are not technical equals to AWS or Azure. They're substantially smaller, less proven in complex enterprise workloads, but that is not the point. The question isn't whether French cloud providers can outcompete American hyperscalers on performance. The question is instead whether they can meet their requirements for workloads where European institutions have decided foreign jurisdiction disqualifies American competitors entirely. And the answer is yes, because the competition ended before it even started. According to Gartner, 61% of European CIOs say they want to increase use of local cloud providers. More than half say geopolitics will prevent them from leaning further on US-based hyperscalers. Those are not technical assessments, those are risk assessments. When CIOs cite geopolitics as a constraint, they're essentially pricing in policy unpredictability, jurisdictional reach, and exposure to foreign government access. Now let's connect this to the timeline because the digital euro isn't live yet. If EU legislation is approved in 2026, the digital euro could be issued by 2029, that's just 3 years from now. Testing begins in mid-2027, so this cloud infrastructure decision made in October 2025 is for a system that won't be fully operational for another 3 years minimum. The ECB is building foundation architecture now, and they've decided that foundation will be European controlled from day one, not migrating later, no dependency phase, no, we'll switch to sovereign providers eventually, sovereign from the start. And compare that to previous European tech initiatives. Gaia X, the federated European cloud project launched in 2019, allowed American companies to participate. According to Christina Cafera, founder of Eurostack Foundation, she says, once Microsoft, Google, and AWS were inside Gaia X, the initiative lost its purpose. That is why it failed. The ECB learned from that failure. This time, American providers are not invited to the table where they can lobby for inclusion. They're excluded from eligibility at the procurement stage. What's going to happen next? Here's my personal read on where all of this is going to head. By 2030, I think every major European financial infrastructure project will have similar procurement restrictions. Not explicit bans, just eligibility criteria that exclude non-EU providers for autonomy reasons. And those criteria will spread beyond finance into telecommunications, energy management, transportation systems, healthcare data, you name it, any sector where data sovereignty becomes a regulatory requirement. For AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure, this doesn't destroy their European business. Their 70% market share remains dominant for commercial workloads, but the highest value, most strategic contracts, the ones involving government, critical infrastructure, and financial systems, increasingly flow to European providers by policy design rather than competitive tender. Their revenue growth in Europe will likely hit a ceiling, market share stabilizes or decline, and the precedent spreads to other regions watching Europe's playbook. For OVHcloud, Scaleway, and other EU-based providers, this creates a protected market segment worth tens of billions annually, not because they're better, but because they're European, and European institutions have decided that's a feature, not a bug. Watch the video on Europe and Canada positioning to challenge dollar dominance. Infrastructure control precedes currency power. The phrase "not invited to bid" sounds bureaucratic, I know, But when the ECB says Amazon, Google, and Microsoft cannot bid on digital euro infrastructure, they're essentially saying something much sharper. American jurisdiction is a disqualifying vulnerability for European money. Your technical excellence doesn't matter this time. Your scale doesn't matter. Your pricing doesn't matter. What matters is which courts can compel you to act against European interests. And if the answer is US courts, then you're out. The digital euro launches around 2029, but by then the infrastructure will have been European controlled for years. No American company will have touched the payment data, the transaction flows, the user information, or the system architecture. And when other central banks, Brazil, India, ASEAN countries, build their own digital currencies, they will look at Europe's model and basically ask, why would we give infrastructure control to a foreign jurisdiction when we can build sovereign alternatives? That's the precedent the ECB just set. Not with a ban, not with a tariff, but with a procurement eligibility requirement that treats foreign jurisdiction as automatically disqualifying for critical financial infrastructure. And once that logic is accepted for money, it essentially applies to everything else. Right now, watch the video on your screen about the EU systematically decoupling from Visa and MasterCard payment infrastructure because the digital euro, the Euro Office Suite, the sovereign cloud requirements, these are not separate initiatives. They're components of the very same strategic shift. Europe is building parallel infrastructure where American systems become optional, and the ECB just made sure that when Europeans transact in digital euros, not a single byte touches a server controlled by US law. Call it autonomy, call it sovereignty, call it whatever you want, but don't call it anything other than what it is. Europe saying no to American infrastructure control, one procurement decision at a time. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.